All right. Road to 500. Episode 1. This is kind of an introduction. I do believe a little bit of backstory is required to help understand why that goal is so important to me at 42 years old. I'm by far not a power lifter. Never really have been, never really wanted to be. I appreciate being stronger than many other people in the room. But as far as being competitive or trying to be the strongest person in the room, there are plenty of people that are stronger than me, and I'm okay with that. I'm not interested in being the guy that can deadlift 1,000 pounds. That takes a lot of very, very specific dedication, and it's just not for me. So, Memorial Day 2016. I was roughly 190 pounds with a 405 max deadlift. I could get it once. That's not too shabby for a guy at 190 pounds. It's not phenomenal. I was a little bit of a dad bod, but I wasn't really fat per se. But I was trying to work up to 500. Memorial Day, I get in a car accident. Somebody pulls out in front of me. We don't got to go into a great deal of detail. Impact was at about 50 mile an hour. The older couple in the other car, they were unharmed. My kids were rattled. My boys, they were rattled, but they weren't injured. I, on the other hand, sprained my left knee, tore my left pec, which was excruciating. And I fractured 4 lumbar. The lumbar is the cartilage in between the vertebrae. I was unaware of this until that point. So I deal with osteoarthritis, which at times can be very painful. And my posture has issues. I try to slump. So I do my best to try to be mindful and kind of occasionally correct myself and do the Superman pose. You know, you got to puff it out. Kind of the same positioning you want to be in for many lifts. The specialist told me I would never squat or deadlift again, which obviously I took some time off with a torn pec. I didn't realize my pec was torn. I thought it was a shoulder irritation. The day after the accident, I did chest. Yeah. Let's just say by the next morning I knew there was a problem. So I took some time off. I didn't do anything. I tried to allow things to heal. And despite what the specialist said, what they told me was my form would never be right because my posture will never be right again. Because those 4 lumbar are smashed like a wedge, like a piece of pie turned over on its side. Which, pie is a good reference. I love pie. Which makes me slump forward. 9 months after the accident, I was able to get my deadlift back to 405. And I took video of it at the end of the video when I dropped the weight. And I sent it to the specialist. But he wasn't completely wrong, y'all. Every time I tried to deadlift heavy or squat heavy, for several days after, I would be in agony. It would anger that arthritis so much because my form would get wonky at those heavy weights. So since then, the fact that I went from 230 pounds to 154 and have been packing on beef since, doing the 2-a-days. Like, it's fantastic. The setup is fantastic. So I'm up to about 165 at, I don't know, roughly 4%, I guess, body fat. I think between the loss of useless body mass, the dietary changes, the supplementation changes, all natty. I don't, no juice, no gear. It's all fucking natty. Lots of broccoli and asparagus and stuff like that, which roast it. If you don't like that stuff, try roasting it and try seasoning it. Just try different seasonings. You'll fall in love with it too. My favorite food is asparagus, roasted asparagus. So, and that's a lifelong guy that hates vegetables. Because of those things, I really don't have as much of an issue with the osteoarthritis, with the pain in my back. Every now and then a little bit here and there, depending on what I'm doing. Sometimes I just crack my back and it goes away. But I'm not popping ibuprofen or naproxen or whatever to try to deal with it. It's just almost non-existent. And being mindful of my form, I hit that 365 and it was clean. Y'all, it was clean. I would even say it might have been sexy. So, road to 500. I do deadlifts more than once a week. At the beginning, my workout is mostly push-pull, right? Push-pull, and then I do a bro split at the end of the week for vanity purposes because it's fun. But I find push-pull to be the most beneficial. And I alternate push-pull. The next week I go pull, push, right? So I'm hitting lower body 4 times a week. And deadlifts are an integral part, so are squats. I'm very mindful of my form, right? You got to protect your spine. And at the beginning of the week, I go super heavy. Now, I was every week, first day, be it pull, push, whichever, I was working on the big movements like bench press, deadlifts, squats. I was working to a 1 rep max. I was trying to push for PRs every week. I'm changing that. That's not a good idea. It's really not beneficial. So 3 weeks in a row, I try to hit 365 on deads, and I can't break the surface. I can't even get it a quarter inch off the ground. I'm stuck at 315. So I stop. And I think, you know what? There really isn't a great deal of benefit other than bragging rights to working to a 1 rep max. There really isn't. So, rapidly, standing there in front of the bar, I developed this plan. I said, okay, we're going to try this. I dropped down to 275, right? So I got 275 loaded up on the bar. And 10 or 15 times, I don't know, I didn't count. I don't give a shit. I did it until I couldn't do it cleanly anymore. So when my form started to deteriorate, I stopped. That's failure, especially with something like a deadlift or a squat. That's failure. Load up 275, and I hit it for 1. My current max at that point was 315. I felt like I should have been able to do 365, but for some reason I couldn't get it off the ground. So I loaded up 275. I hit it for 1, set it down, step back. I waited 10, 15 seconds, maybe 20 at most, did it again, and again. And I kept doing that until my form started to deteriorate. That means I'm failing. That means I'm done. And then I dropped it down to 225. I thought, you know what, a heavy working weight, let me get a couple of sets of 5. Y'all, the fatigue at 275 made 225 feel like it was a fucking warm-up. I'm doing sets of 12 and shit. Just shocked me. How did I do that? I'm already gassed. I'm tired. But I did it. The following week, I decided, all right, we're going to try for a 1 rep max. And I burned my way up to 365 like it wasn't shit. A part of me was tempted to try 405, but I'm not ready. So my plan, this is what I've devised. This is what we're doing at this point. Once every 4 weeks, I'm going to work to a 1 rep max, right? I'm going to try to push for a PR. Otherwise, on my heavy day, when I'm doing heavy pull, lower half, I'm going to start with deadlifts. Load up 135, do 8 or 10, get the blood pumping. 225, 3 to 5 tops. I'm not trying to burn myself up. I'm just trying to feel some weight. From 225 to 315, 1 rep. And then I'm going to load up the 405 and go for the 405. But it's all going to be in multiples of 45. The rest of the week, same warm-up, same 225 warm-up, just trying to feel some weight. And for the moment, I'm going to load 275. That's 90 pounds less than my max. So I'm going to pull 245s, right? 45 off each side. And I'm going to do that 1 rep every 10 to 15 seconds until failure. Once I hit failure, I'm going to pull the quarters off, 225. I'm going to do working sets to failure times 4. That's what I did this week. And I think by doing that, if I do that for 2 more weeks, I don't see any reason why my body won't be prepared to hit 405. And I think a lot of it is because my goal, when you're looking for a 1 rep max on deadlifts, you're coming from a dead stop. With bench press, with squats, you're starting in the contracted state. So you're coming down first. You're in motion. Deadlifts are a little bit different. So it's almost as if I'm training my body to explode from the point of 0, right? From a dead stop. And I think by doing so, building up that lactic acid, pumping that muscle full of blood, I can also push my body to learn to move that heavy iron through the fatigue. I think it's scientifically sound. And then to finish it up with those working sets, I'm building strength and stamina, right? Because that's where your real strength comes from, not your ability to lift something one friggin' time. It's your ability to move heavy weight multiple times. That's actual strength, strength through fatigue. But to do so cleanly, you got to keep it clean. You got to keep your form straight because you don't want to suffer from an injury because that's just setbacks, Plus, that shit hurts. So, 2 more weeks like that, I'm going to shoot for 405, and I firmly believe that my body will be prepared to hit 405 again. And my goal will be 500 pounds by my 43rd birthday, which is in May. So, that's the workout plan. If you want it in text, holler at me. I'll put it in the comments. It's really not too complicated. It's going to vary depending on what you lift. But if you want to try it, man, try it. But by all means, share video and such. If you get results from it, then hell yes, I want to know. It's important to me. Because if anything that I figure out that works for me, if I can share it and it works for you, I want to know about it because I want to hear those stories. I love that. It's phenomenal. So there it is. Road to 500. There's the introduction and a little bit of backstory. And we will be updating weekly. Y'all have a good evening.